Greetings, welcome to Crone House and to part 2 of my series where I'm remaking, repurposing my old bullet journals and several different things. But firstly, my first concern was to remove the tarot information from the journals and to by year for each year. So we'll take a little bit look at this later, but right now from 2019 you can see that I now have six what we're going to call signatures, and we'll return to this later. But before I can do anything with these, I have to address what am I going to be putting them in. Okay, and for my purposes, I thought, since I was tearing my old journals apart, I was left with empty covers, which are perfectly good covers. They're sturdy, there's nothing wrong with them. In the back here, I have torn out, they all have this little envelope in the back, which is a very valuable tool in these journals. This is where I kept a lot of my things that I used throughout the year, particularly my the photocopies of my monthly forecast for each year. I kept in here. Anything else that I was applying for each month that I could print ahead, I would put in here. Also important things, like I had, which I showed you, Joy Summons for one, and the second really important thing I had was my ticket stubs from the San Diego Opera, which showed our seat of choice. Our seats of choice. We are gifted those opera tickets a lot from my daughter, and we really love the seat that we've been in the last, I think, 3 operas we attended. So she tries to get that seat when she can. In case she forgets, I have the ticket stubs, because it's really our preferred seat, if you can have a preferred seat. But it's sort of a joke at this point, but we love it. But anyway, what I want to do today, before I can complete these, is I want to do what I need to do to the cover. This one, of course, I will be tearing this out, because you can see I'm not going to be able to cover these pages or anything with this in here. It's just not going to work for me, and I don't really need it for this purpose. So like these two before it, I have already removed it. But once I removed it, I'm left with this very bad edge, very bad surface, which will have to be covered. And also, subsequently, I'm going to have to cover this, because I want to reinforce this spine maybe a little bit, we'll see, and trim the glue, bits of glue and pieces of the, where the journal was removed from there. Okay, so this is going to be covered. But before I can do that, I thought it would be fun to put a book plate on the front of each of these, because I do have, you've already seen me show difficulty in knowing what was in what journal. And I've been watching and getting inspiration from a channel called, I think it's called Treasure Books. I will link it below. I think that's what it's called. It's not a tarot channel, it's a journaling channel. This woman's a genius, but she has so many creative ideas, and she has shown really great tutorials on how to do all these steps that I'm going to be doing today. So if you really want to learn how to do it, look for her, not for me. If you have a tarot question, ask me. If you have a journal question, ask her. But I'm going to tell you what I've learned. And one thing she recommended for book plates was these envelopes. You get these. She loves, the other reason I love her so much is, I'm trying to think of her name, Natasha, I believe her name is that she repurposes and reuses everything. And that's really what I'm about. Little waste, reduce our waste, reuse where we can, repurpose where we can, recycle if we cannot. And I think each one of us gets, when we get a bill in the mail, if we still get any bills in the mail, some people Even if you're set up to receive electronic mail, they still send you all this paperwork because that's what they like to do. They all come with these return envelopes. Does anybody mail a payment in anymore? I'm not sure. Most of us, I think, just do it online. But at any rate, these envelopes come in here, and some of these she loved because she does all kinds of things with envelopes, which is really fun. But also, these little windows, security windows, I think they're called, has this, what is that? The cellophane, I'm not sure what it is, in the window. And these she uses, she had a little idea where she used, one thing she used them for was to make a book plate. Okay. Now this is it's fine. It's a little big for these books, but I happen to have, this just came in the other day, the mail, but here we have, this is from the electric bill, and it has a little window, but look, it has none of that, that cellophane in there. And here again, my electric bill does not have that in there. Plus some of these have all this writing all over it, which we might not like. But look at this, if you take the envelope and you turn it inside out, which we can do by, again, tearing it apart, taking it apart here, glue, carefully, we don't want to destroy the envelope, look at the inside, it's kind of pretty, isn't it? It's like a little design. So I thought I could use this as my book plate on the outside of my journal. Okay. And if I wanted to protect it, I have a couple envelopes that came like this, which is just junk mail, which we throw away. And it had in my address showing to here. So I thought I could remove this from there. Again, take this apart. And I don't care about this, I just care about that cellophane. Okay, and see if I can remove that from here and apply it to here. And then I can have a protected window for my book plate, okay? So I'm going to break here and I'm going to come back when I have removed this and see what I can do in order to make a book plate for my journals. Okay, I have one of these insurance envelopes that did not have any cellophane in here, and I have this junk mail came today. It did, so I just cut the front off the envelope. I'm going to save that. I'll show you what I'm going to do with that in a minute. But for right now, I want to reinforce. I want this to be the outside. So what I'm going to just do now is cut this a little smaller. So I can handle it. And I'm going to glue this on here. I think I will. I think first I'm first going to cut this. Let's see. I'm going to do about 3/8 border around it. I think is enough. So I'm just going to do that. All sides, 3/8. And the sides. there and 3 dates here. As true as I can make it. And I will cut that out. As neatly as I can. That's going to be my finished size of my book plate. So however much you want it. I want it to be big enough here in order to fit these brads, these little paper fasteners in the corner. That's how I'm going to attach it to the front of my journal, so I want to make sure I have a big enough margin there. Also, you know, show off the pretty paper. Well, it's not really pretty, but it's as pretty as anything in the journal, I'll tell you. Okay, so there I am. And I do not need this. I was a little put off by the fact that some of these, now that I have a use for these security windows for these envelopes that come in the mail all the time, and I'm always throwing them into the recycling. It's like I feel like I throw away an entire tree some days. I was very put off by that they stopped putting the cellophane in the window here, into a lot of these, until I just did my research and I found that this, whatever they put here, is a cellophane or it's something polypropane, I don't know what it is, which is not, it turns out to be recyclable. So if you throw this into the recycling bin, it will be rejected because this will not be recycled. And worse, some of these are treated with something to keep them waterproof. And that is something that is the same ingredient that's in styrofoam, I understand, which is toxic to the earth. That's why we stopped, so many responsible businesses at least have stopped using styrofoam containers and gone to a different kind of plastic, because those are very toxic, it turns out, to our environment. So I'm kind of glad that people are more forward thinking and not using these, but for right now I have them, so I'm going to definitely use them because they cannot be recycled. Good to know. Good to know. So anyway, I'm going to put this aside for right now, and I'll show you why. And I'm going to take this and I'm just going to glue this. First, I'll probably go around it. I want to keep it on here as much as I can. You know, some of it on the overhang, so I will do it like that. And kind of keep it, because I can't really, it's not very secure to go just on the window. That's not very secure. Even though it's called security pane, it's really not secure. So there's that. Turned out to be not even a true statement. I'm just trying to get this small enough that I can use it. So let's see here where I go. Of course, I can trim this when I'm done. This is fascinating to me, isn't it? Okay, now, this is another thing I use. These stupid catalogs that come in the mail constantly, I'm always throwing them away. You get one, you get a million on them every stupid day, it seems. So anyway, I'm going to just put some glue on the back of this. I have a glue stick here somewhere. My glue stick is out, so I gotta quickly open another one. This one I think is empty. That will go trash that. So I should cut this out of here. This is, you know, glue sticks are really considered a temporary hole. They're not very permanent. As you can see, I put a lot of my stuff just popped out of my journal because I was using it. Okay, anyway, so I use this so I can really get a good glue around this. So I run it off onto the paper. And then I take this and I'm going to put it on here too. It also is going to make it more secure if I can get some of that paper on there. I hope this is in the frame of the camera. So there I have that in, and I can just, it'll hold well enough for me to trim it, trim the excess off. Which are going to blow all over my house since I have my fan on. I'm doing this out on the kitchen table because everyone is so irritated by the fan in my parlor, which I have to have on. It's too stuffy in there without it. And my water fountain that comes on every afternoon, apparently, and my wind chimes, which seem to make a lot of people angry. So, don't want to make anybody angry. Okay, so there's the window itself. There's the window. And now, this piece that piece of the window, let's see, piece of the envelope. I can also use some of the envelope because I need to write on here. And I think I'm going to use this one because it has lines. It's kind of an interesting feature. Can you see that? This is a little bit of a texture. And here I'm just going to get a size. I can cut that. Get it kind of straight here. As straight as I can. It's not terribly important that it's real straight, but because it's going to be inside. Okay. But this is what I'm going to use for what I'm going to write on. Erase my lines, my guidelines. Once my ink is dry enough, nice and clean. And then I'm going to take my window and I'm going to glue it onto there. And for that, I want to use this glue, like I did before. So I'm going to use this glue, not the glue stick, but this is a little better. And again, I just need a little thin ribbon around the edge. You can use any kind of glue that works. White glue would work, like, probably. But I don't have that. Excuse me. Get that to dry. And what it does is this paper that was the inside of the envelope also makes it secure. Now this won't slide out like a normal book plate. This would be open on the top, but we don't care about that. This is just because we're just preserving these books. Okay, so I have my book plate done. This is for 2021 and 22. I do want to show you, I did not show you, I don't think. I did one, I finished one for 2019 and 2020. And I do have 6 years I'm dealing with up until the current year. But I also determined when I was doing this, I will show you later when I go to sew them in. But you know, I have a thin spine here. I didn't want to put too many in here. So, and I wanted to add some pockets in the front, which you'll see in a few minutes. But you see that makes a nice, My signatures are not all the same size, so it doesn't make any sense for me to try to center them because they're really not the same. So 2 signatures is going to work per book. So we'll look at these signatures later. But for right now, I'm doing this part first because I have to cover in here, and I want to cover those brads. So now you're caught up to speed with where I am. So, and then I'm going to go on my thick catalog again to protect my table. I'm going to use this one to get it spaced properly. I grabbed it, it's handy, and I thought that was a good distance from the top. So they would be the same. I just wanted them to be the same. I'm going over to the inch line. And I know you can't see it, I can't even see it, but it's right there. And then I'm going to put this at that inch from the edge. That gives me about an inch to here. And I'm going to take my awl, and I'm just going to go through, make sure enough that I get into the book. I don't want to push too terribly hard because I don't know how strong this is. It wasn't very expensive. We have better ones, but I didn't want to use those because they belong to my husband. He does leather work, and I don't want to ruin his stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to put on the pencil line, and I'm just going to, so that I can feel that I've gone into the book. I just want to make sure I have a hole in the book. Okay. So they call this like a pilot hole. Is that the correct term? I'm not sure. I think my husband would say pilot hole. So it's going to be a guide for when I put it in. You'll see I need to make that, of course, much bigger than it is because you can tell, I'm sure you know without looking, that the little paper fasteners are much bigger than that hole. They're this big, right? That's not going to fit in that little hole, but don't worry about that yet. Okay, when I move it away, I can see that I have my holes, so I can do this. And I have a hole, and now I'm going to go in carefully, as careful as I can. So I need to make these holes big enough to accommodate the paper fastener. So I'm just going to go in my pilot hole, and I'm going to make sure my hand's not on the other side. And I'm just going to twist it. Because if you can see to look at it, it's very small here and it tapers, it gets bigger. So as I get further up on the awl, my hole will get bigger. So that's the idea. I'm going to twist to get it big enough that I know that paper fastener is going to go in there. And now, oh my, you should be able to see that hole now compared to this. This little pinpoint hole and this big hole. So that's what I'm looking for. Making sure again that my finger's not on the other side. I'm twisting. There we go. Into the pilot hole. And I don't want to push too hard because I don't want to break the cardboard in my book or break off the awl. Not the will. I think it's perfectly good. Okay. And then I want to kind of do the same thing for the paper. I don't need the hole to be quite so big, but I want to put that in there. And just really carefully, because I don't want that to come apart. It's kind of fragile. And while the cellophane is really not important, I thought it was a good idea to protect the paper. But also, now that I know that can't be recycled, I'm all the more determined to use it when I can. Because that is very irritating. I don't like to have things that we're intending to be thrown away that we cannot recycle. That's very, very disconcerting. And the other reason I am recommending Treasure Books channel is that is her whole jam. She makes something out of everything. It's very impressive. Even if you're not going to make a book, check that channel out. She is really something. She really knows her stuff. Okay, So there have holes in that, holes in there. I'm going to very carefully first put the paper fastener in here. Again, trying to make sure, turn that that's together. I don't want to make a hole any bigger than I need to. So I want to work that in gently in each of the holes. This is actually quite satisfying. I don't know why. But it's good I can find something satisfying since I'm so dissatisfying with the whole project, it seems. Of bullet journals in the first place. There we go. After, I have to give credit where credit was due. I did enjoy them. I did enjoy them as long as I could. But everything has to come to an end, and for that one, sometimes they're big enough to just go straight in, and they're made well enough that they're tight. It's when they're not really together that you have a problem. Okay, there we go. Making sure that I'm not going to be upside down. Okay, I'm going to put these in here, into my hole, pushing down into these holes, pushing down the inside, making sure it's the whole way, and then simply bending them in place. If this isn't fun, I don't know what is. I don't know. This is kind of fun. Kind of fun. Okay. Shame about these two cards. This is the star card, which I thought was so lovely. The stag. Oh my. Stag is my husband's spirit animal, and we use the stag a lot in our practice, in our magic. Okay, there we go. So we have, there's 2019, 2020, 2021 and 2, and what is left? I've got another cover, and I've got 2 more signatures for 2023 and 2024. Now 2024 is not finished, of course, we're only halfway through, but I'm going to be working on it within this book rather than in my journal. But here we see, before I can continue, I did not tear this envelope out of here. So I'm going to have to do that first before I continue, and then we will continue and make another book plate, and I'll show you when I'm all finished with those. I have all my book plates on the front of my 3 journals, and I want to finish the inside. I want to cover these and get this all ready to add the signatures, which we will do in the next video. Okay, but right now I want to show you. This spine is okay. It's probably sturdy enough for what I want, but I want to do this anyway because this is good practice. Sometimes when you're using old books, you have to reinforce the spine a little bit. So I just have a piece of a cracker box here. It's just a little bit bigger than what was here. You really normally want to just do it the same width, but we're cutting it a little bigger. And because you might see from the end, I'm just going to take, and this is what Natasha recommends, to take a marker before you glue it on there and just color the end of it, so if you're looking down from the top, you don't see cracker box. It's not necessary, but and then maybe ink the end a little bit. It's just not as obvious that it's a piece of a cracker box, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm just doing whatever she says to do because she knows more than me. And then I'm going to just take this and I'm going to glue it on top of the one that's here. Keeping it in a little bit from the edge like that one was. So, good bit of glue. She always uses a good bit of glue, making sure everything stays. Of course, she sells hers, and mine's just gonna go on my shelf pretty much. But it's good practice. Okay, so I'm just gonna apply some glue to this, and then that is on there. I think that's good. There we go. Okay, and then I'm not going to be sewing in the signatures until the next video, so I don't have to really wait too long for things to dry because they're not going to really be moving much. So we need to put some kind of tape here to cover this. And she uses different things. You can use paper, or you can use, she uses sometimes washi tape, white tape, or something like that. Or most people use fabric. I'm experimenting, and I'm going to use a piece of felt because it's just really thin, cheap felt. It's more flexible. One of the reasons she likes fabric is because it's flexible, and sometimes they'll crack if it's paper. And I have these, and I'm trying to use up all the stuff that I have. So I cut that to the length, and then just, you know, out so that it comes out onto the existing paper right now. So I'm just going to put a good bit of glue on that. My glue is a little clumpy because I had the fan on, but I had to turn the fan off because it was drying all too fast. I'm trying to go hurry because it's really hot. I need my fan on. I don't know if this is something I would recommend using. Some people might say, no, don't use this. But for what I'm using it for, it's just going to have 2 small signatures in here. It shouldn't have any, I shouldn't have a problem with it. Okay, here I know we want to make sure we get glue down into this edge here, where it's going to bend. So I want to make sure I get glue in there along that edge. Real good, all over the spine. And then up here on here some. I hope you can see. It's really hard for me to see where you are. Well, of course, I can't see where you are, but I'm just sticking that on there. Look at that. Okay, so I just want to gently and evenly make sure I get down to the edge and try to get it as straight as I can. And really push that in there. And I have this, pat that down. And then I'm going to take a bone folder here, and I'm going to, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to really get this pushed down in here, in the fold, down into that little fold. As best I can. The fabric is moving a little bit. I hope it's okay. A lot of people, when they're making junk journals, they deliberately have that hanging out a little bit because they like the look of it. I don't really care about that for this. This is really functional. I don't need to do a lot of these steps, but I'm trying to learn as I go. I thought this was kind of fascinating, this whole process. And my husband had made our original book of shadows, and we both have done other book binding. I mentioned before that we've done some things with Coptic stitch, but never anything like this, really. Well, it's kind of like this, but not this exact. So, because this felt is kind of thick, it's, I wanted to get it in the glue. And again, really work that tool in there. Now, this is probably, people are going to cringe, and I don't want to hear it if you're cringing about, oh, why are you doing that, Rebecca? That's really stupid. You know, I just have it. I'm using it because I have it. So, and nobody's going to care but me. So I'll let you know later if I like it or not. Okay, now, that's that. And then the final step I'm going to do before I before we have to add the signatures to the book, is I need to add these end papers to cover up this stuff and all this. And I had some scrapbook paper we just cut out, and it's really the same on both sides. So I have it like this. I thought it would look pretty like this. Covering that up, it's gonna all cover, that's the idea. It's gonna look like that. Which isn't that lovely? Oh, I don't know, I think it's lovely. So, but right now I wanna take, you see these are round corners, and these are pointy corners, and I just happen to have, all of us who can't leave our tarot decks alone, we're always cutting off our borders and stuff, have these corner rounders. So I am going to round these two corners here. So that matches those. And then I'm going to do these two on this side. Are you able to see this? I don't know. All right, and then these have to be glued on here. And again, I want to use a lot of glue here. I want to make sure that my glue, first of all, I need this cleaned off. I want to make sure I go all around here, close to the edge. Oh, I can stop right here. I'm just going down along their edge there. Again, I hope you can see along the edge of the book page. She takes special care to spread that out with her finger. I've got enough glue on my finger. I don't really wish for any more. And again, I'm not making this for long-term usage. I'm just making it for now. And then again, I'm going to use my catalog here to get glue on this one around the edges, close to the edge as possible, because it'll spread when I push on it. I'm trying to work fast. That doesn't dry out. And I'm just gonna add some to that. And then I place it. And these corners are what I want to match up as best I can there. We cut this as accurately. Actually, my husband cut this for me as he could. I think he did a really good job. So I'm going to push on that. And as best I can. And to try as I might, I cannot keep glue off of the paper. Okay. Before I put this one on, I want to work the bone folder. Make sure this is the bone. This tool right here, bone folder, I guess it's called. Even though it's not bone, it used to be bone. Now it's plastic, I guess. Make sure that's worked into that crease good, and get this down as good as I can on that felt. Okay, and I'll do the same thing for this one, making sure I have it this way. So isn't that pretty? I hope you can see that, how lovely that paper is. The tree just, not that I'll ever see that again, but I know it's there, and it's kind of fun. So again, I'm going to put glue on here. I will go down here first. And then I'm going to go around the edge as good as I can. Hope you can hear me, and I'm not mumbling. I don't mean to mumble, but I'm concentrating because I don't know what I'm doing. So I apologize for the quality of this video, but I'll make up to it to you with a good video the next time. How about that? Okay. Now, this says to really dry really well before I sew in the signatures, and that's perfect because I think this video is long. We have one more. I'll do one more video for this last steps, and that should do it. Okay, let's see here. Lovely paper. Oh, I love it a lot because I just, again, got glue on it because I got glue on that. You know, I think I did a better job of this when I was in kindergarten than I did now. I'm not usually this messy. I'm in a hurry, which is maybe never a good thing for me, but I have other fish to fry today, so there we go. I just wanted to get this up. I want to get it up, you know, these videos up. I'm going to try to put them up every day, you know, one a day at a time, so you can, those of you who are trying to do this, you can see the whole process before you know, not have to wait a week to see the next step in the process. But again, I don't know how many people are going to follow me with this process because I'm really not the person to follow for this. But again, I'm going in this crack. Make sure I get it really good. I'm kind of pulling on the felt. I don't know whether this is going to work or not, but boy, it looks pretty to me. So there I have it. Well, let me clean up my glue. And then I'll show you what I have. Beautiful. So I have three journals. I have 3 journals ready for the signature, okay? Where's the first one? Here we have 2019 and 20. There's my book plate made out of the junk mail that I got with the little cellophane window, which I'm reminding us we can't recycle that anyway, so it's good to use it, reuse it if I can. And I used the same paper in each one. I used different pieces of felt, different colored felt, but I really liked it. I thought that would go good with this. So there's 2019 and 20. Here's 2021 and 22. And again, the journals are ones that I had taken out. They were bullet journals in my past. And I've taken those out, and now they're ready. And I did clean them up, but of course then I got messy, but all done with junk windows from security windows from junk mail that I got in the mail. So there we go. We're ready, and they're gonna all, I'm gonna get them really good and dry. And the next video we're gonna put in, I'm gonna show you how to put in the signatures, and then we should be all done. Okay, so there you have it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.